Now, we did a lot of big jobs out of this pit too, you know, when things were moving and that.
I sound very argumentative, but my teenagers learned to drive when you had one entire lane was a hole in front of your pit. And my kids had to go into oncoming.
Up there?
Right here on this road, right there.
Okay, right where we come out of this old pit here. Right like that.
And that was awful, and I can't fathom the 10 years.
Yeah, can I touch on that again? I mean, obviously a lot of people have concern about the length of that 10-year permit. And I recall at the public meeting, you guys was mentioning it really is a 2-year project based on, and now I hear 3 years tonight, but what is the purpose of the 10 years? And really on that same subject, when I asked you earlier, you said you absolutely don't foresee this not going through.
We don't see what?
I'd be curious as to why you think that.
10 years?
No. I think first off, the 10 years, if we heard 2 years at the public meeting, now we're hearing 3 years tonight. What's the purpose of the 10-year project?
Okay, whenever we go in for one, you don't try to take it down to the exact day. I mean, when we're building a job, sometimes you do that. You've got 180 days to build a job. We extend beyond that, like any reasonable person, because you don't know what's gonna happen with the economy. It's just like when things slow down. I mean, in 2007, we probably did 25 million tons of sand and gravel along the Wasatch Front. And now we're doing 8 or 9, you know, I mean, it just completely stopped in some areas. So you kind of give yourself a little time, so we're not here, so we didn't forget to go in and extend it and have to redo it. In reality, I mean, tonight I asked Dak how many yards we actually got there. It's just taking the material out and blending it with our other materials. It's a slower process than if there was a big job. I mean, 1 million yards is not that much. I mean, one job would take 500,000 yards if there was a big job up here, you know. Do I think it'd be 10 years? No, I really don't think it would. But then I was thinking, it might be 3 the way if we were not processing and selling a lot up here and taking it down the canyon.
So you don't necessarily store it, you kind of mine and process it.
As we need it, yeah.
I see.
One of the statements was in the 97 conditional use permit, indicated that you would stop work in a hauling line until this was completed over on the Warner site. Is that similar to what you're expecting to do right now?
Yeah, as soon as we,
pit?
yeah. Now, I don't remember what we've got over here with the authority process, but we agreed, okay, we'll mine that in. Everybody said, hey, they're mining them both now. Well, this one is basically shut down, so we had to go over here and do that. But yeah, when we do whatever we do with the county, we would agree, because we don't want traffic coming out of both of them and thinking we're gonna run 15 trucks out of each one of them. We would go out of one or the other.
So you just said, just a few minutes ago, that you could possibly do this in 2, maybe 3 years?
Well, I'm thinking it'd probably be 3 years at a steady pace.
That's how many hours a day?
Whatever we're allowed. Were we allowed 7 in the morning? 7:30 to 7:30.
Monday through
I
Friday?
haven't factored out, okay, doing that at 15 trucks an hour at 40 ton, because they wouldn't always be running that steady, you know. But I'm thinking to use that many tons.
It's about 1.25 a year, if it was steady.
Well, yeah, but that, yeah, then the
Trucks.
tonnage would go way up, and
Right.
we don't have the use for that many tons of this right now.
That's running 52 weeks out of the year, fair weather, right?
No,
we're
this is running on 10.5 hours a day and 251 work days per year to out Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays.
And we would, you know, in the winter, we're not real anxious to put them on it a lot. We would haul some, but your days are limited of when you'd want those trucks on the road, and you can't.
But between the mitigation efforts that you'll have to abide by and the unknown quantity, the unknown factor is the jobs. You don't know what you need to supply to, right?
Well,
Those two things would prolong it from 2 years to 3 years to 4 years. That's why you go after the 10-year permit.
Well, it comes down to how many yards of concrete we gonna make, and we use some of this in our concrete products, you know. I mean, everything, frankly, I hope we don't get back to the 2007 levels anytime soon, because that was a little crazy when that was going on. But, I mean, we're a long ways from though, so the economy's starting to build again, it's getting better, but who knows when the feds will do something or whatever, they'll stop housing again, or road building, or whatever.
Do you own any other land in Mountain Green and do you plan on fighting?
We own anything else up there?
Just the 2 pits.
You got something for sale?
Maybe my house.
I mean, you know, in Mountain Green, you've
It's on
seen,
it, but it might be. for
I mean,
sale.
you've seen pits open up. Everybody I saw, all the pits are gone, and sure as heck another one, somebody will find some gravel and open one up. You know, the one right up the road was open for a while, and I think it's shut down now. But present time, I guess we don't own any more of it.
How close will you be mining to the property lines, and how are you going to ensure the stability of the ground?
Well, I mean, the ground is plenty stable, as far as you mean when we eat the bank.
Well, yeah,
Have you
our
done any
home is
geological
right on the
studies?
edge of that park, we're building a home, little.
Well, and you can see the property line up there, I assume, where you're at, where
Right,
it's
so are you going to be
finished.
right below that, or are you,
We would mine, we'll mine to where it's probably a straight line along where it comes. I'm trying to picture, because we've sloped some of it already. Coming this way, we're not right, we don't go right to the property line vertical and then tip it over.
In fact, along the subdivision there, it's pretty much completed. The only residence that would have an impact on where we might be mining is the Paul Warren residence.
Yeah,
So
we're,
it's sloped
that
that
end of the
you see.
pit's basically sloped and done. You know where Warner's house is up at this end?
It's directly behind your house.
And part of that will be.
And that slope has been there, that slope has been there for years. I mean, if erosion's gonna take place,
and
we
you
would
won't
see it.
disturb that in what you're doing?
We may
No,
grade it
we
or
won't.
lay something on top of it, but that slope will.
Are you going to fence around the property line?
I was up there the other day and 3/4 of that's fenced already.
but
I mean,
some of
it
it
needs
is
to be,
not.
right,
Against
up
that
north.
The house is, like,
Right, it's not across
where
the
the
street.
kids are.
And how
Across
do
the street, old
In
Highway
Rollins
Street.
Ranch.
No,
No,
Rollins
the-
Ranch,
from
sorry.
the base floor.
The northern end of it.
The west
Just on the
side.
northeast side.
Right. Right, that's the one quarter that I was mentioning that's probably not completed. And right now, I don't know how many houses are going up in that phase or if they're completed. Yeah, before
They're
there's.
not.
30 total, and there's about 6 that have not been reviewed to build, out of that 30, so the majority of them are in process of either building or soon to start.
So will you be
So
putting
will
up
that be
fencing or
fenced?
what's?
Well, what are you talking, like barbed wire fence?
No, we're talking
No,
about
I-
making kids from, they go there all the time. anyway.
Oh, what?
Kids go down there all the time right now.
Probably continuing what you already have, that vinyl, that's a privacy fence,
That's
something.
Well, that's not ours.
Oakwood.
Yeah,
Oakwood did the vinyl.
yeah, the vinyl fence is not ours.
Then how do you?
When I looked at it, it appears to me that the developer looks like they're gonna continue that on. And I can clarify that with them, it's not.
I don't think it was regular.
That was just, it was a condition on that lower end, something to do with the Warner property, the easement to that road.
The new road.
Well, the
The
road,
old
like the
right
old
away.
road, that Warner.
His road goes up to that, to his property, so
Well,
we would
that-
put that.
Yeah, and that got realigned because of that fourth phase, maybe that was a condition of that.
Oakwood did it to basically educate the buyers that that is right away, and you don't have public access to it. It's Warner's.
So is that a no on the fence?
Well, let's look and see what we're even talking about, because we had I thought the development had fence in their deal.
Probably does, but that.
Well, I mean, I thought in their plan, but, no, I'd have to look at it and see what we're even
I
talking.
mean, otherwise it's open for anyone to go down and, children, whatever. There needs to be some safety.
And they've already been down there. Yeah, they go down there all the time. Right, do you plan on having lights?
I mean, what?
Lights on site?
Well, yeah, if we say we had a plan in there, I mean, we're limited on the hours, we can actually run the plan. There might be a few lights, if somebody had to work on something, you know, if it gets dark so early. But I don't foresee us being in there in the winter when it gets dark early anyway. I'm not gonna say absolutely no, there'd never be lights, but we wouldn't be running at night where it would be a bunch of light plants in there. Right?
So do your lights meet with the night sky? Or is it dark sky?
Well, I don't know, how do they, I mean, probably,
Well, it's kind of a moot point because in the permit, we're not allowed to operate at night.
Well, it does get darker early though. I mean, it starts
It
by
started at 5:30.
five, before
So
5:30.
we're shut down at 5:30.
but I mean, if you had lights, the whole thing would be illuminated. I'm thinking if a mechanic was down there working on something to get it ready, or it'd be minimal, but I'm not saying, no, there wouldn't be any light down there. I don't know if we have a light over at the scale house now, just to light it up. I imagine there's a night light on that. And you could probably tell me better than I can if you've seen a light over there, or where the scale house is. I don't know if there's one there or not. I would think we would have one there, but I don't know.
You see lights on.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Rick. I was making a comment on the actually.
Can I go back to the traffic really quick? So you're saying best case scenario, 3 years. And then you're gonna move over to the Holly Pit. And I've been told that that's probably gonna take twice as long as the Warner Pit to complete. So we're looking at 9 years of semi-truck
Or
craziness
longer, I would think.
on Old Highway. Have you done any kind of traffic studies? Is that something that UDOT does, or Morgan County, or?
Yes, I mean, it's been quite a while since, there was all kinds of studies when they were talking about doing this intersection here. So, yeah, there's a lot of studies, I mean, it's,
So who's responsible for that? You guys, the
to
county?
do the study.
UDOT, like who, you know?
Well, I guess whoever thinks that it's too busy. Now, UDOT, like I say, they were doing the study and said that it wasn't anywhere near its capacity. That's been a while ago. I don't know how often UDOT monitors that, because I'm sure there's been a lot of people that still want an off-ramp and everything over here, but UDOT does that. I think that is part of the UDOT road, isn't it?
Old Highway.
Part.
Trappers Loop is Old Highway's a county road.
Actually, how I understand it is that from Trappers over
To the-
is
UDOT.
UDOT.
I
And
think,
then, and that's why there's the further restriction
Going east.
going the other
so
direction.
we could probably get information from them of what the traffic is on that road.
So you don't know if they've done a study since
Well, I-
ones went in and.
Well,
all the subdivisions?
no, I can't say for sure. I don't know. I would think that there's no, how much traffic.
So will all of your entry and exit from the gravel pit be on that, where the way house is right now? Where the road is now? They won't, you're not gonna be adding any?
Well, we're on the Warner side now, right, over
Yeah,
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come in and out.
That'll never change.
No, I don't anticipate anything changing about that.
Glenn, did you have a question?
I was just gonna ask, did Skylar Gardner get his permit as well for his gravel pit he's wanting to open?
It's tabled until.
Oh, up at that development they wanna do, that's,
Concerning more trucks coming down that road.
Yeah, we don't.
During the public meeting, you mentioned bringing product down to South Weaver from this site.
Yeah.
I guess probably just keep the product flowing and make it a little bit faster, you still probably doing.
yeah, that, I mean, we've got an outlet we can use it for there. So that's why I'm doing the projection of, okay, I think 3 years is the best we can possibly do, and that's projecting what we can take there. Like I say, that could come a job, you know, I don't know what all Morgan's got planned, or if they all of a sudden did something in the airport, and needed 400,000 ton of hit and run, which that's, you know, boom, we could cut it a couple of years off.
So I thought at the public meeting, I heard you were going to just take everything and get it out of there and take it down to South Weaver. So what you're saying is you're going to operate as needed out of this
Well, yeah,
pit?
you don't, to take it out and just build a stockpile, you're gonna spend 3 times the amount of money. You almost need to get the flow going to what you have to use it for, so it's a steady flow.
So
Otherwise,
it will be an operating pit for 10 years, probably.
this one? No, I'm saying based on South Weaver, that's why I'm thinking it, with what I know we've got that we can take out, that's why I'm saying 3 years would be the best. Because the flow we could take it to South Weaver would deplete it probably in 3 years.
How about a 3-year permit then? I mean, that's,
Well,
I mean, I guess everybody's just envisioning this is gonna go for 10 years, nonstop.
and we would be able, could address that with the county. I mean, it's, like I say, you always go for more because you don't know what's going to come up. Like I say, basing it on the South Weaver, that's basing on how much concrete we're doing right now at this time, how much needs to be made and processed. That's what I'm saying.
So would you be willing to modify the request to a 3-year with a renewal potential?
Well, yeah, you know, you hate to always say, well, yeah, okay, 3 years, give us, we'll get it all out of there. I mean, if we, saying then things did dry up, we have to keep hauling and just stockpiling. I mean, just spend a lot more money with no benefit from it, really, just to stockpile materials. So I'd ask, okay, if we did something like that, that we could come in and say if the economy goes down, everything dries up, that we could get an extension or something. Because if that happened, then you'd see the trucks slow down, I mean, we'd probably quit hauling for a while and things like that.
If after 10 years there's still material in the pit, would you guys apply for renewal?
But in which pit? Warner? Hell no. No, we would, give us a good time frame, and we would say it'll be done, we'll sell it or whatever
The past one?
in 10 years, huh?
Kind of like the
Like the
old one?
1997
We had a lot of time to get that done, the old permit, the 1997s.
Well, a lot of things were out of our control on that, but.
As could be in the
But
future.
that's
Right, but we're saying if that
So if
happens
this
again.
expires and there's still more,
I'm saying
are
there's
we gonna
very-
go through this again in 10 years?
There's